Hello everybody, welcome to Mo's Kitchen. Today we're using one of my favorite ingredients in the world, corn. Corn season is almost up, so I thought I'd make a pasta sauce with it. So this is going to be my summer rotini pasta with a corn and cream sauce. Let's get it started. So you need one corn and you got to cut the kernels off. Now I've got a very bad knife, so I'm doing a very bad job. For an example, if you can notice, I'm barely able to do it. If you have a sharper knife, you can probably cut deeper in and get more corn, but that's the best I can do right now. So in a blender or stick blender like I'm using, place your corn kernels with about a 3/4 of a cup to a cup of chicken broth or stock, or even vegetable stock, and grind it smooth. In a blender it'll be a lot quicker, but my aunt took mine, so I need to buy a new one soon. So it'll take a bit longer. When you're done this, set it aside till you need it. You could pass it through a food strainer if you want to, make it more silky, but I'm not going to bother with that. So here I've got some zucchini. I've got green and I've got yellow, just because adding color is nice. Now cut them any way you want to, don't worry about shape and size, just pick one and stick with it. I'm going to cut them into quarters, so cut them up, cut them to the half moon shape, and cut them again. I just didn't do it right now because I actually chose to do it last minute. So now I'm going to cut some bell peppers. I'm going to show you a little bit of a method. So you can cut it in the middle, then you can cut it into a quarter, right? Then you kind of want to remove the membrane and stuff. There's no taste to it. If you're going to use very hot chilies, then removing that stuff will make it a lot less spicy. So if you want to cut it into a quarter, then another quarter, remove it, and then kind of cut them into even pieces. That's one way of doing it. I'm going to show you different methods. I'm using 4 kinds of peppers. There is just a different color, just for show. Realistically, it doesn't matter, but for a video, I like to add color to it. So again, quarter, quarter, and then there. Now I'll move on to the next pepper. So some people like to take a knife and just kind of trim around the top like this. When you got a giant seed in the middle, this actually really helps getting rid of it. Just give it a trim around, and then just pull it apart. In this case, there wasn't a giant seed, but what I can do is I can access the top a bit easier. Just kind of cut around the green part, and then you guessed it, cut these into even pieces. You know, generally about the same size. Don't worry about it being exactly perfect. They're all going to cook the same anyways, and no one's really going to notice. Now that green one. Here's another trick. So if you want to cut it around the sides like this, maybe 3 or 4 parts. So cut it around the side. It's kind of the same idea. Just take your knife, go on there, get rid of most of it or all of it. A little bit left is not that big of a deal. Then again, don't worry about how you cut it, just cut it the same. So that's good. Cut out 1 or 2 small pieces. No need to worry. Got enough green in the dish, so I'm going to go to orange now. Basically, you take your knife across the edge of it and you're not even getting much seed into it. So all that color is going to be all of my vegetable basically. So get your pan on medium-high heat and keep it there for about a minute, minute and a half till it's really hot. Then you want to add your oil. Now you notice mine's kind of moving around and expanding. That's the key to this. See how it kind of moves around the pan a lot? Then you want to add your vegetation into the pan. Okay, good. And just give it kind of a jiggle to get everything settled. And then you want to add some salt. It'll add flavor and kind of draw out some of the moisture. Now, you may have to turn it down to medium. You're going to have to kind of watch by eye if it's getting too hot. You just want to brown these. Might take maybe 8 to 12 minutes. Kind of what my pan took. If you're on, gas, it'll be a lot less time. And you want to have your pasta going too because they're going to finish roughly in the same amount of time. So you want to boil this with like 4 tablespoons of salt in here. Now, maybe 7 to 9 minutes you want to cook this for. You don't want it to be al dente. You want it to be just before al dente because we are going to cook it in the sauce. So make sure it's before al dente or else it'll just taste nasty and gummy. It won't be good, trust me. So when your vegetables take on this nice color, add in your garlic and just kind of toss it to combine. You want to do it for maybe a minute, 2 minutes tops on medium heat. You don't want to burn your garlic. If you want the vegetables a bit darker, you can. It tastes pretty good. Remember, I'm doing a YouTube video, so kind of keep it a bit light. You could also just roast them in the oven and skip this part entirely if you're doing a giant batch. I didn't show it, but when it's done, drain your pasta, salt and pepper. Do not wash it or else you're starting over. Toss it in the pan. Give it a few turns like this. Turn your heat back up to medium-high as well. Now, if you don't want to flick it and toss it like this, you can just use a spoon, but I'm fairly confident in my opinion. In my opinion, I'm confident in my technique. Also, I'm going to add in some extra pepper, some tarragon, and some basil. And again, toss to coat. You don't have to do it in the air like I'm doing all the time. You could just do it on the flat top, but it's up to you. Too much airtime stops cooking. Leave it going for 2 minutes before you add everything else. Alright, now it's time to hit the sauce, all of it. So as I said, it's going to finish cooking in the pan. It's going to absorb the majority of that sauce. And because of its corn, it'll kind of thicken up over time on its own. No need to add cream or milk. So give it that stir. I'm not going to do it this time because it's going to splash all over the place. Okay, so now I'm going to add in some cheese. I'm going to add in some Parmesan, or actually a lot. It'll give it flavor and it'll also help thicken a little bit. I also added some chili flakes earlier. I just didn't show it in the video. There we go. Toss to combine and let it cook till most of it's kind of just thickened. So to me this is done. I can see the sauce is all absorbed and thickened. I added some extra Parmesan cheese, tarragon, and a bit of chili flakes. Taste it for adjusting. You might need it, you might not. Then I'm ready to serve pretty much. So I topped up some parsley and added basil, just rough chopped it, and I'm putting in some Parmesan cheese because I really like it. Normally I put a heck of a lot more, but it's probably a good amount right there. Alright, let's see how it tastes. I love it. You guys have to try this recipe. Corn season is almost gone, so really give it a try. Visit my website for all the ingredient amounts and more details, mos-kitchen.blogspot.ca. Enjoy the recipe.